Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Anubha Rohatgi and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Nationwide second phase COVID-19 vaccination drive to cover senior citizens and people above 45 years with comorbidities begins. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says both the COVID vaccines are safe and perfect. Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets vaccinated at AIIMS, New Delhi, appeals to people to come forward for vaccination to make the country corona-free. Prime Minister says 21st century India needs post-harvest revolution and value addition amid increasing agriculture production. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari launches real-time monitoring system of toll plazas in New Delhi. Consumer Affairs Minister Piyush Goyal says there is need to change the approach of the country towards standardization. More than 77,000 crore rupees worth telecom spectrum bids on day one of Airwaves auction, says Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry launches field assessment of Swachh Sarvekshan 2021. India to send consignment of 1,000 metric tons of rice and 1 lakh tablets of HCQ to Madagascar. Power Ministry denies any data breach in an attempt made by Chinese hackers to target power grid system of the country. And Nomadland and Borat subsequent movie film emerge as big winners at the 78th edition of the Golden Globe Awards.
As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The nationwide COVID-19 vaccination phase to cover senior citizens and people above 45 years with comorbidities has begun today. The registration for vaccination opened at 9 this morning at www.cowin.gov.in. Citizens can register and book an appointment for vaccination anytime and anywhere using the Cowin 2.0 portal or through other IT applications such as Arogya Setu. The vaccine will be administered free of cost at 10,000 government hospitals to these groups, while the cost of the vaccine at around 20,000 private vaccination centers will be borne by the people. Our correspondent has filed this report.
The eligible persons will be able to register at the Cowin 2.0 portal. The user can log in at the portal with OTP from their registered mobile number. With one mobile number, a person can register as many as 4 beneficiaries. To avail online registration, the citizens can use photo identity documents like Aadhaar card, electoral photo identity card, passport, driving license, PAN card, NPR Smart card and pension document with photographs. The citizens can schedule themselves to the available time slots for vaccination at nearby COVID vaccination center. Citizens can download the confirmation of the appointment and it will also be shared through SMS on their registered mobile number. The government has identified 20 specified comorbidities that will prioritize individuals for the COVID-19 vaccination. They include heart failure with hospital admission in past 1 year, post-cardiac transplant, kidney and liver transplant recipient or on wait list, leukemia, lymphoma, HIV infection, diabetes and hypertension, on treatment and severe respiratory disease with hospitalization in the last 2 years. With a view to strengthen the COVID vaccination capacity significantly, large number of private facilities is being involved in this vaccination drive. Around 10,000 private hospitals impaneled under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, 687 hospitals impaneled under CGHS and other private hospitals impaneled under state government health insurance schemes can participate as COVID vaccination centers. With Dipendra Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today took the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine at AIIMS in New Delhi. In a tweet, Mr. Modi appealed to all those who are eligible to take the vaccine. He said it is remarkable how our doctors and scientists have worked in quick time to strengthen the global fight against COVID-19. The Prime Minister said, let us together make India COVID-19 free. Sister P. Niveda from Puducherry administered co-vaccine to Mr. Modi.
मेरा नाम निवेदा है। मैं पौंडीचेरी से बिलोंग करती हूँ। एम्स में 3 साल से काम कर रही हूँ। आज सुबह पता चला पीएम सर आ रहे वैक्सीनेशन के लिए। सर को वैक्सीनेट करने के लिए मुझे बुलाया गया था। सर से मिलकर अच्छा लगा। सर को भारत बायोटेक की कोवैक्सीन दिया गया है फर्स्ट डोज। अभी 28 डेज में सेकेंड डोज पेंडिंग है। बात हुई सर से, वैक्सीन देने के बाद सर ने बोला लगा भी दिए, पता भी नहीं चला।
The Prime Minister was seen wearing a gamcha of Assam, which is symbolic of blessings of women from Assam. The Prime Minister went to AIIMS without any route on the roads early in the morning to avoid inconvenience to people. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu was administered vaccination in Chennai. Home Minister Amit Shah, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister of State and PMO Dr. Jitendra Singh also took the first dose of the vaccine today.
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that both the COVID vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, are safe and perfect as far as immunogenicity is concerned. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi took the jab first when vaccination of people above 60 years began today, and he took Covaxin, against which a lot of misinformation was spread even when this vaccine was scientifically perfect.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बड़ा स्पष्ट संदेश दे दिया है देश को। अब किसी भी किस्म की इससे संबंधित अफवाहों पर, मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन पर, दुष्प्रचार पर और जो इससे जुड़ी हुई जो वैक्सीन हेजिटेंसी का इशू था, ये हमेशा के लिए इट शुड बी बरीड वंस फॉर ऑल.
He said the side effects are minimal, like swelling or fever, and it happens during normal vaccination as well. The minister said hospitalization due to COVID vaccination is very minimal and almost negligible. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India of the 21st century needs a post-harvest or food processing revolution and value addition amid increasing agriculture production. The Prime Minister was speaking at a webinar today on the steps taken for the agriculture sector in this year's union budget.
लगातार बढ़ते हुए कृषि उत्पादन के बीच 21वीं सदी में भारत को पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट क्रांति या फिर फूड प्रोसेसिंग क्रांति और वैल्यू एडिशन की आवश्यकता है. देश के लिए बहुत अच्छा होता अगर ये काम 2-3 दशक पहले ही कर लिया गया होता. अब हमें जो समय बीत गया है उसकी भरपाई तो करनी ही करनी है. आने वाले दिनों के लिए भी अपनी तैयारी और अपनी तेजी को बढ़ाना है.
Mr. Modi said at present we have to focus most on processing in every sector of agriculture. The Prime Minister stressed on the need to expand the country's agricultural sector in the global market for processed food. The Prime Minister informed that 50% subsidy is being given on the transport of all fruits and vegetables by Kisan Rail under the Operation Greens scheme. The Prime Minister also spoke on the steps taken for the agriculture sector in Union Budget 2021-22. Mr. Modi said the government has taken several important steps in the past years, keeping in mind the needs of small farmers.
Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari today launched the real-time monitoring system of toll plazas at a function in New Delhi. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gadkari said that implementation of FASTag at toll plazas has improved electronic toll collections and facilitated ease of doing business. Speaking about construction of national highways, Mr. Gadkari said over 11,000 kilometers of national highways were constructed in the 11 months of this financial year, and the per-day road construction has reached 33 kilometers.
हाईवे के बारे में मुझे बताते हुए खुशी हो रही कि हमने 11,035 किलोमीटर हाईवे कंस्ट्रक्शन अभी तक किया है. तो ये 33 किलोमीटर पर डे हुआ है. अभी ये पूरा महीना एंड होना है. मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि ये 40 किलोमीटर इस साल क्रॉस करेंगे.
Consumer Affairs Minister Piyush Goyal today virtually presided over the third Governing Council meeting of the Bureau of Indian Standards. He reviewed the process of making Indian standards and their implementation with BIS officials, senior officials from different ministries or regulators. Addressing the meeting, Mr. Goyal said there is a need to change the approach of the country towards standardization. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given the 3 mantras for faster economic development: speed, skill and scale. Mr. Goyal said now it is time to add 4th dimension of standard to this. The minister said standard testing fees should also be reduced in the initial years for the MSMEs, startups and for women entrepreneurs. He said it will encourage them to get their products certified and also encourage ease of doing business.
Communications Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has said that on the first day of Telecom spectrum auction today, winning bids received till 6 p.m. were worth 77,146 crore rupees. He said bidding took place for spectrum in 800, 900, 1800, 2100 and 2300 megahertz. Mr. Prasad said the participants did not bid for 700 and 2500 megahertz, and the spectrum auctions will resume tomorrow. The Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry launched the field assessment of Swachh Sarvekshan 2021 at a web event in New Delhi today. This will be the 6th edition of the annual cleanliness survey. The Swachh Sarvekshan was introduced in 2016 as a competitive framework to encourage cities to improve the status of urban sanitation while encouraging large-scale citizen participation. Speaking at the webinar, Secretary of Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry, Durga Shankar Mishra, said the survey has led to a spirit of healthy competition among cities and towns. Every year, the on-field assessments takes place between 4th January to 31st January. However, this was delayed by 2 months due to the COVID pandemic and will be conducted between the 1st to the 28th of March.
The Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India under its Waste to Wealth mission has launched the Swachhta Sarathi Fellowship to recognize students, community workers or self-help groups, SHGs and municipal or sanitary workers who are engaged in tackling the enormous challenge of waste management scientifically and sustainably. The Waste to Wealth mission is one of the 9 national missions of the Prime Minister's Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council, PMSTIAC. The last date for applying for the fellowship is 19th of this month. Up to 500 fellows will be recognized under the fellowship. Details and application link is available at www.wastetowealth.gov.in/fellowship. India is sending a consignment of 1,000 metric tons of rice and 1 lakh tablets of HCQ to Madagascar. The External Affairs Ministry said this is in response to the urgent appeal made by Madagascar for international solidarity and assistance to deal with the humanitarian crisis in south of Madagascar due to severe drought. The humanitarian assistance is being delivered on board INS Jalashwa, which will leave with the food and medical assistance on the 3rd of March and is expected to reach the port of Ehuala in Madagascar between 21st to 24th of March. The prompt Indian assistance to Madagascar was conveyed today by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in a phone conversation with Foreign Minister of Madagascar, Dr. Tehindrazanirikwo Zakoba A.S. Oliva. The External Affairs Minister assured his Madagascar counterpart that as a maritime neighbor across the Indian Ocean, government and people of Madagascar can always count on the support and solidarity of the government and people of India. The 2 foreign ministers also discussed other issues of mutual interest.
The Power Ministry has denied any data breach or data loss from Chinese cyber campaign against Indian power systems. The ministry said that an email was received from CERT-IN on 19 November last year on the threat of malware called ShadowPad at some control centers of Power System Operation Corporation, POSOCO. It said the action has been accordingly taken to address these threats. The National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, NCIIPC, informed through mail on 12th of February about the threat by Red Eco through a malware called ShadowPad. It stated that Chinese state-sponsored threat actor group known as Red Eco is targeting Indian power sector's regional load dispatch centers along with state load dispatch centers. All IPs and domains listed in NCIIPC mail have been blocked in firewall at all control centers. The log of firewall is being monitored for any connection attempt towards listed IPs and domains. Additionally, all systems in control centers were scanned and cleaned by antivirus. There is no impact on any of the functionalities carried out by POSOCO due to the threat. No data breach or data loss has been detected due to these incidents.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Nationwide, second phase COVID-19 vaccination drive to cover senior citizens and people above 45 years with comorbidities begins. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says both the COVID vaccines are safe and perfect. Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets vaccinated at AIIMS, New Delhi, appeals to people to come forward for vaccination to make the country corona-free. Prime Minister says 21st century India needs post-harvest revolution and value addition amid increasing agriculture production. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari launches real-time monitoring system of toll plazas in New Delhi. Consumer Affairs Minister Piyush Goyal says there is a need to change the approach of the country towards standardization. More than 77,000 crore rupees worth telecom spectrum bids on day 1 of Airwaves auction, says Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry launches field assessment of Swachh Sarvekshan 2021. India to send consignment of 1,000 metric tons of rice and 1 lakh tablets of HCQ to Madagascar. Power Ministry denies any data breach in an attempt made by Chinese hackers to target power grid system of the country, and Nomadland and Borat's subsequent movie film emerge as the big winners at the 78th edition of the Golden Globe Awards. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar today announced that COVID vaccination will be absolutely free in the entire state. Mr. Kumar said such facility will be made available even at private hospitals. He said it will be facilitated by the state government. The Chief Minister today received the first shot of COVID-19 vaccine at IGIMS Patna. He urged people of the state to get themselves inoculated.
आज जो ये काम प्रारंभ हो गया है और मुझको पूरा भरोसा है कि हमारे सभी बिहारवासी इसका लाभ उठाएंगे और टीकाकरण कराएंगे और इससे मुक्ति पाना बहुत जरूरी है इस कोरोना की बीमारी से।
Mr. Kumar also said arrangements have been made at the state-run super speciality hospital IGIMS Patna for inoculation of all members of the state legislature. Meanwhile, our correspondent reports that school classes from standard 1 to 5 in the state opened today. The second phase of COVID-19 vaccination began in Madhya Pradesh today with great enthusiasm. More from our correspondent.
In Bhopal, the drive began at Government Gandhi Medical College, GMC. State Medical Education Minister Vishwas Sarang monitored the inoculation drive at Gandhi Medical College. In Bhopal, the vaccine doses were given in 17 hospitals, including 9 government facilities. State Health Minister Dr. Prabhuram Chaudhary, leading doctors and many retired officials got vaccine shots on first day of phase 2 inoculation. Vaccination drive for senior citizens on the first day was conducted smoothly in the state. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Rajasthan, senior citizens have reached in large numbers at vaccination sites under COVID vaccination campaign. Governor Kalraj Mishra also gave the message that indigenous vaccines are completely safe by getting vaccinated in Jaipur. We have a report.
A comprehensive vaccination drive has been launched today to administer the corona vaccine to senior citizens in the state. About 1,000 vaccination sessions have been organized today across the state. 98 vaccination sessions are reported to be held in Jaipur alone. The Health Department has set a target of immunization of about 1.5 lakh people in a single day today. Sarpanch, teachers, Anganwadi workers, Asha Sahyognis in villages have also been associated with the campaign to get maximum number of vaccinations. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In the national capital, second phase of COVID-19 vaccination got underway today to cover senior citizens and people above 45 years with comorbidities in different government and private hospitals. Speaking to AIR News, Chairman of Sir Gangaram Hospital, Dr. D.A. Sarana said the hospital has been giving vaccine shots to healthcare workers and frontline workers since last 6 weeks and made additional arrangements for senior citizens and people above 45 years with comorbidities. He said people waited for the number patiently and took the jab. He added that 184 people took the vaccine today and there was no adverse event following immunization.
Many people could register themselves and got themselves vaccinated, and they were very happy with the arrangement and went from hospital very satisfied. And there was no adverse reaction seen in any patient. When we started for health workers, then also our response was exceptionally good in the whole city. We were the maximum. We had 100% vaccination rate, on second day itself, and almost nearly 70% employees got vaccinated. So, and rest are getting vaccinated.
The third Jan Aushadhi Divas celebrations began today. The week-long celebrations will go on till 7th of March. Jan Aushadhi Kendras conducted health checkup camps across the country. The health checkup activities include blood pressure checkup, sugar level checkup, free doctor consultation and free medicine distribution. People who visited these health camps were informed and educated about the price, benefits and quality of the medicines being sold at Jan Aushadhi Kendras. The gross GST revenue collected in the month of February is 1,13,143 crore rupees. The Finance Ministry said out of this amount, CGST is 21,092 crore rupees, SGST is 27,273 crore, IGST is 55,253 crore and cess is 9,525 crore rupees. The government has settled 22,398 crore rupees to CGST and 17,534 crore to SGST from IGST as regular settlement. Talking to AIR News, economist Mr. Neeraj Gupta said this is a positive sign in the recovery of economy.
जीएसटी कलेक्शन है फरवरी महीने की वो 1,13,143 करोड़ आई है, जो लगातार पांचवें महीने 1 लाख करोड़ से ऊपर हमारी मंथली जीएसटी कलेक्शन है और लगातार तीसरे महीने 1,10,000 करोड़ से ऊपर आई है। और ये पिछले साल के मुकाबले, फरवरी महीने के जो पिछले साल के मुकाबले इस बार 7% ज्यादा है। साथ में ये भी है कि जो ग्रोथ है वो दोनों फॉरेन ट्रेड में भी है और डोमेस्टिक ट्रेड में है।
The International Women's Day falls on the 8th of March. Starting from today, we bring you stories of women achievers from diverse fields. India has one of the highest number of female graduates in science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM as compared to other developed nations. More in this report.
Dr. Geeta Manjunath is the founder of Niramai Health Analytics. She led the company to develop AI-based method to detect breast cancer in a non-invasive radiation-free manner. Talking to All India Radio News, she said the software can detect cancer at all stages in a privacy-aware manner.
Breast cancer in a completely privacy-aware, automated, affordable, accessible and radiation-free manner. Software which is a very smart software which uses what's called as artificial intelligence, and using these techniques we have developed this software which analyzes these temperature variations and generates a report saying whether there's something abnormal in the lady. If so, where is the likely abnormality, and also what is the chances that this is actually cancer.
Research scientist Dr. Meera Chadda has found that dust particles can reduce the effect of nuclear weapons. Talking to All India Radio News, she said the study is theoretical and needs to be implemented practically.
So this research was about, it's an extension of the work which I had done during my PhD, in which we had studied how the dust particles affect shock waves. Shock waves of various strengths. It could be a weak shock, it could be a strong shock, those kinds of shocks. Because explosions are nothing but very strong shocks. So this was the study all about, and we found out theoretically that it was possible to some extent.
Dr. Chadda's study has been published in 2 foreign journals. Diksha Saxena, AIR News, Delhi.
At the 78th edition of Golden Globe Awards, Nomadland and Borat's subsequent movie film emerged as the big winners. Nomadland won the award for the Best Drama Film, and its director, Chloe Zhao, was named Best Director, becoming only the second female winner of the category in Globe's history after Barbara Streisand in 1983.
We shared a few of the best moments from the 5 films nominated for Best Motion Picture Drama.
And the Golden Globe goes to Nomadland!
Okay. First of all, thank you, my fellow nominees, for your beautiful, beautiful movies. I'm speechless. Thank you. And Jessica Buder, who wrote the book Nomadland, just thank you for your passion, and you started our journey.
Borat's subsequent movie film, the sequel to 2006 hugely successful Borat, was named the Best Musical or Comedy Film. The Crown won 4 prizes, including the Best Drama Series. Josh O'Connor won the acting prize for his performance as Prince Charles, while Emma Corrin won the award for her performance as Princess Diana.
The India-Australia bilateral relationship has undergone evolution in recent years, developing along a positive track into a strategic partnership. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Australia's High Commissioner to India, Mr. Barry O'Farrell, has said Australia supports India's candidature as a permanent member of the UN Security Council. He added that, being a natural leader in the region, India is taking greater prominence in international affairs.
Australia is home to citizens who have come from many countries around the world. And I don't know that there is a more peaceful nor productive community that arrived on Australia's shores than those from India. And during those bushfires, the Sikh community in Australia does what it does all over the world, which is when there's a crisis, it gets out there and feeds people. And it fed a lot of volunteer firefighters as they fought those dramatic fires more than 40 months ago. That Australia is thankful for and will continue to recognise in many ways the contribution that India and Indians are making to the development of our country.
For listening to the full interview, tune in to our Spotlight program on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. Congress leader Anand Sharma today questioned the party's alliance with Indian Secular Force ahead of West Bengal Assembly polls. In a series of tweets, Mr. Sharma said Congress's alliance with parties like ISF and other such forces goes against the core ideology of the party.
Benchmark domestic stocks today climbed 1.5% in sync with gains in the global equity markets. Global indices rose amid calm in the rising bond yields and positive reports regarding U.S. stimulus. The BSE Sensex closed 750 points or 1.53% up at 49,850, while the NSE Nifty surged 232 points or 1.6% to finish at 14,762. The broader market at the BSE also gained. The mid-cap index ended 1.46% up, while the small-cap index appreciated 1.61%. The 45th Civil Accounts Day was celebrated in New Delhi today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was the chief guest of the event. Comptroller and Auditor General G.C. Murmu, Expenditure Secretary Dr. T.V. Somanathan and Controller General of Accounts Soma Roy Burman were present on the occasion, among others. This annual event was celebrated for the first time by virtual mode and was enthusiastically attended by the Indian Civil Accounts Service ICAS officers and staff of the Civil Accounts Organization.
In France, former President Nicolas Sarkozy was today convicted of corruption. Judges found Sarkozy guilty of trying to bribe a judge and of influence peddling and sentenced him to 3 years in jail with 2 years suspended. Sarkozy, who led France from 2007 to 2012, has denied any wrongdoing, saying he was the victim of a witch hunt by financial prosecutors. He has 10 days to appeal the ruling. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is likely to face strong surface winds during daytime. The temperature will hover between 15 and 28 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be around 22 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 36 degrees. Chennai is expected to have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between 22 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata may also witness partly cloudy sky. The city will observe minimum temperature of 23 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 34 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 2 and 12 degrees Celsius. Jammu will also have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 11 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 27 degrees. Leh is expected to have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be -9 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 6 degrees. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 6 and 18 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the sky will be partly cloudy, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. The temperature will vary between 8 and 24 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Nationwide second phase COVID-19 vaccination drive to cover senior citizens and people above 45 years with comorbidities begins. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan says both the COVID vaccines are safe and perfect. Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets vaccinated at AIIMS, New Delhi, appeals to people to come forward for vaccination to make the country corona-free. Prime Minister says 21st century India needs post-harvest revolution and value addition amid increasing agricultural production. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari launches real-time monitoring system of toll plazas in New Delhi. Consumer Affairs Minister Piyush Goyal says there is need to change the approach of the country towards standardization. More than 77,000 crore rupees worth telecom spectrum bids on day one of airwave auctions, says Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry launches field assessment of Swachh Sarvekshan 2021. India to send consignment of 1,000 metric tons of rice and 1 lakh tablets to HCQ to Madagascar. Power Ministry denies any data breach in an attempt made by Chinese hackers to target power grid system of the country. And Nomadland and Borat subsequent movie film emerge as big winners at the 78th edition of the Golden Globe Awards. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.